My name is Marty Lohman. I'm 27, and 2 years ago, I did the thing my family said was too ambitious for a girl in tech who should slow down. I bought a house. Not a mansion, not a showpiece. A modest three-bedroom colonial, 40 minutes from the city, the kind of place the wind braids itself through on humid afternoons, and the porch light feels like a small lighthouse when you pull in late. I was 25 when I signed the papers. 2 promotions at a startup, 60-hour weeks, and a savings spreadsheet that looked like a battle map. Ramen, roommates, and a secondhand desk I rebuilt with wood glue. The house was my trophy and my truce. Inside its walls, I wouldn't owe anyone an explanation for how I live. The room that sold me, the master suite, sits at the back corner, vaulted ceiling like a quiet chapel, ensuite bath with a soaking tub that forgives long days, and French doors that open onto a small balcony. In the mornings, east light spills across the floorboards in neat, obedient rectangles. I saved for months for the California King. I built a reading nook out of a rescued chair and a patch of sun. It became the one place where the noise outside can't decide my temperature. 6 months ago, the phone rang. My mother, Linda, 52, and always certain that her plan is the only plan, asked for a favor. Sweetheart, she sighed, the way she sighs when she wants the world to soften. Your younger brother Nathan, 19, needs a safe place to reset. Only a few months. He dropped out. He's fragile. I said yes. Of course I did. Nathan was 11 when I left for college. We never synced time zones as siblings. But you don't keep score with family. At least that's the rule I've always tried to follow. I put him in the larger guest room, 14 by 16, good light, big closet, bathroom right across the hall. No rent. Mom insisted he needed to heal without pressure. I covered groceries, utilities, streaming apps, and stocked his preferred snacks. I told myself, temporary. The first weeks were quiet. Nathan slept late, wore hoodies like a shell, and mostly gamed behind a closed door. I work hybrid. On home days, I'd catch him briefly, a cereal bowl in hand, a nod of thanks when he found his favorite chips. We watched a movie once. I fell asleep during the third act. It was ordinary in a way that felt almost normal. Then Mom came for dinner. Pot roast with those tiny potatoes she adores, the ones that grab butter like a secret. Nathan joined, which was rare, and the table felt a little like a truce flag. Until dessert. She cleared her throat. It's the tell I learned as a kid. A speech has been drafted. Marty, honey, she began, patting Nathan's hand. We need to truly support your brother's healing. We've been superficial. I thought she meant therapy, a counselor, a plan. I was ready to drive him, schedule the intake, print the forms. I believe, Mom said lightly, as if asking me to pass the salt, that Nathan needs your master bedroom. I laughed before I could help it. A startled, ungraceful sound. Good one. Her face didn't move. I'm serious. I looked at Nathan, waiting for the same shock to register. He stared at his plate, tracing a potato with his fork like it might confess. Mom, I said carefully, this is my house. I pay the mortgage. Nathan already has the larger guest room. It's nice. You're established, she soothed. You don't need all that space. He does. Environment heals. The east light, the privacy of the ensuite, the balcony, they matter. For meditation, for art therapy, for his circadian rhythm. North-facing rooms suppress serotonin. I'll buy him a sun lamp, I said. That's not the same, she replied gently, as if explaining gravity to a child. He needs zones, a creative corner, a place to be. You, darling, are resilient. Nathan is delicate. Nathan, I turned to him, softening. Are you struggling? Do you want help finding a therapist, a doctor? He glanced up, cheeks flushing. I've been feeling kind of down. Mom jumped in before the sentence had a chance to finish. He's too proud to admit how bad it is. I breathed out through the top of my lungs, the way my therapist taught me back when I could afford 6 sessions. No one is switching rooms. And there it was, the face Mom saves for stubborn children and waiters who say they're out of the special. I didn't raise you to be materialistic. Family means sacrifice. Your father would be heartbroken to see you hoarding space while your brother suffers. Dad died when I was 21. The mention of him is a lever Mom pulls when she wants the door to swing her way. I felt the old guilt stir, then sit back down. I'm already giving him a home, I said. Free. Now he has to take my bedroom too? No. She hugged Nathan extra long in the hallway, loud enough for me to hear. Some people need time to discover compassion, sweetie. We'll figure something out. A week of silence followed, the watchful kind. Then the messages began. Articles about toxic masculinity. I'm a woman, the irony almost impressive. Studies about light and mental health. Facebook posts about children who value possessions over people. And voicemails from aunts who suddenly cared about architecture. Isn't north-facing terrible for the creative spirit? Somewhere in there, a pastor I've never met offered to counsel me toward a more open heart. Nathan started narrating the house when I passed him in the hall. Your room must be nice in the morning, he'd say, eyes not quite meeting mine. The shower pressure in your bathroom is probably better. The guest room feels small. It felt coached. The words had Mom's cologne on them. One morning I made coffee and heard Nathan on the phone through the too thin walls. I don't know, Mom. It feels weird to ask for her bedroom. Yeah, I know you say I deserve it. No, I haven't mentioned the art studio idea yet. Art studio? When he came out, I tried calm. Is Mom pressuring you? He shrugged, eyes glued to the fridge magnet like it might answer. She thinks it would help. With everything. What is everything, Nate? Dropping out? Missing your friends? Feeling stuck? Because I can help with real help. Doctor, therapist, schedules. But 24 hours of video games and a different wall color won't cure this. He bristled. You wouldn't understand. You've always had everything easy. Good job. Nice house. Easy? I said, not raising my voice. I ate noodles and sold furniture on weekends to get here. He retreated down the hall to his perfectly adequate, rent-free room. That night I called Evan, my boyfriend. Steady voice, boring socks, eyes that don't wander, the only quiet I've ever dated. He listened without interrupting, then said, Document everything. Keep your boundaries. I'm here. He also sighed about Tessa, his ex, who loves performative compassion online. If this goes on Facebook, he warned, she'll parachute into the comments with a halo. Good, I said. Let her try. The next Saturday, I left before sunrise for a day-long work thing in the city. When I unlocked the front door at 6, the house smelled wrong. Lavender, which makes my skin itch. From upstairs, a playlist vibrated with bowls, chimes, and breathy vowels. My pulse did the math before my head caught up. My bedroom door was open. Inside, my room looked like a brochure for wellness gone feral. Crystals on my nightstand. A Himalayan salt lamp glowing like a wound. A dream catcher hanging from my ceiling fan. The bed dragged to a different wall, my reading chair exiled. A yoga mat unrolled exactly where I write in the mornings. And there they were, Mom holding fabric samples, and Nathan on my bed with a sketch pad. My voice arrived before my politeness. What are you doing in my room? Mom turned, serene as a swan on a disaster lake. Oh, Marty, you're early. We're just visualizing. It's called manifestation. Nathan has such a vision. Zones, meditation corner, art studio space, reading nook. Get out! Nathan scrambled, dropping the pad. I saw the pencil labels as it hit the rug. Creative expression zone, healing altar space. There's no need for hostility, Mom said sweetly. Miranda, Nathan's spiritual advisor, says the body can't heal in a cramped north-facing room. Who is Miranda? Reiki and chakra alignment, Mom replied, proud. Out, I pointed to the hall. Now. They left. As their footsteps faded, Mom's voice floated back up the stairs, just loud enough. This negativity is exactly why Nathan needs a sacred space away from toxic energy. I put my room back together with shaking hands, the chair back to the window, the crystals in the trash, the dream catcher unwound like fishing line. Then I installed a lock. That night, I lay in the dark, counting my breaths, listening to the house settle, and the world try to crawl under the door. I thought about the first time I stood in this room, about the light that made me feel like the future might be gentle if I worked hard enough. Then my phone buzzed. A new family group chat appeared, supporting Nathan's journey. Dozens of names added. Mom's opener arrived like a sermon. Nathan's severe depression, my withholding, the crushing north-facing energy, the urgent need for an expansive healing suite. She attached photos. Nathan looking tragically thoughtful, the guest room photographed with angles that made it look like a closet, vision boards for my master bedroom. I typed and deleted. Evan texted, breathe, Screenshot everything. Don't post angry. 3 notifications later, a familiar name popped up in the chat. Tessa. She wrote, "Some people never learn that space is love. Artists need room to breathe." I stared at the screen, at my door with its new lock, at the rectangle of moonlight on my floor. Somewhere below, my brother coughed, and the house cracked like old ice. The next morning, Mom announced her plan. "I'm coming over tomorrow," she wrote. "We'll discuss like adults." I replied, "You are not welcome in my home without an invitation. Do not come." The typing bubble pulsed, then disappeared. The house watched me set my phone face down on the nightstand. I stared at the ceiling until the light began to change, the honest east sun climbing the wall like a quiet promise. For 2 days after I told Mom not to come over, my phone became a haunted object, buzzing, lighting up, then going still. I didn't even have to open the messages to know they were hers. She alternated between guilt and grandeur. "Sweetheart, you're blocking your brother's healing energy. Margaret from book club says natural light literally saves lives. Why can't you show compassion the way your father would have wanted?" By Tuesday, I'd muted her. By Wednesday, she'd found another way to get under my skin. Other people. My Aunt Patricia texted, "Your mom says you locked Nathan in a dark room? That can't be true, right?" My cousin Jennifer posted a vague status about how some women forget empathy once they buy property. Even Tessa, my boyfriend's ex, reposted one of Mom's self-pitying posts about young people prioritizing material comfort over family. She added a little dove emoji and a comment. "Sometimes love means letting go of control." I showed the post to Evan, who just rubbed his temple and muttered, "She's doing this for attention. Ignore her." Easy for him to say. Thursday morning, I came down for coffee to find Nathan at the kitchen table surrounded by printouts, studies, articles. The role of environment in mental healing. How sunlight impacts creativity. All printed, highlighted, and organized with sticky tabs. He didn't look up as he said, "Mom sent me some resources. You should read them." "I don't need to read propaganda," I replied. He sighed dramatically. "You're acting like this is some scam. She's trying to help me heal." "Nate, what are you actually healing from?" He froze, his hand hovering over a paragraph about vitamin D deficiency. "You wouldn't get it." That line, "you wouldn't get it," was becoming his armor. I was tempted to throw his studies in the sink, but I just said, "You can stay here rent-free while you figure your life out. But my room isn't up for discussion." He didn't argue, he just said quietly, "Mom says you're scared of losing control." 3 days later, I understood how deep her manipulation went. Saturday, I came home from errands and found Mom's car in the driveway. My stomach dropped. I had locked my door, but the front door, Nathan's door, was wide open. I ran upstairs. My bedroom was different again. The air was heavy with incense, the curtains replaced with gauzy white ones that scattered the light in trembling patterns. On the wall above my bed, Mom had taped photos of forests and suns, and the words "Healing Studio Vision Board." There was Nathan, sitting cross-legged on the floor, sketching. Mom stood near him, holding up color swatches. "What the hell is this?" Mom turned, all serenity. "Marty, we're just trying to visualize possibilities." "You broke into my locked room." Nathan picked the latch. "Don't overreact. We're manifesting positive energy for his recovery. You should be grateful he's finally expressing himself." "I'm not grateful. I'm furious." "Hostility won't help him," she scolded. "Miranda says aggression blocks the throat chakra." "Who the hell is Miranda?" "Our Reiki coach," Mom said brightly. "She's been advising us on how to create zones for emotional alignment." I stared at the salt lamp glowing like a wound on my dresser. "You need to leave, both of you." Nathan hesitated. "Mom." "Now!" I barked. They left without another word, but on her way down the stairs, Mom said, just loud enough for the neighbors to hear, "This negativity is exactly why Nathan needs sanctuary." That night, I installed a deadbolt on my door. I also changed the Wi-Fi password. By morning, I woke to 27 unread texts, a wall of missed calls, and one new notification. New group created, supporting Nathan's journey. The member list was a family tree. Aunts, uncles, cousins, even grandma. And there it was, Mom's opening essay. Nathan's severe emotional struggle has reached a critical point. His sister refuses to offer him the environment essential to his recovery. The north-facing energy of his current room is crushing his creativity. The master suite would allow light, privacy, and space for art therapy. Below her words, photos. Nathan looking tragically thoughtful by the window, chin in hand. My guest room, shot at night, lights off, camera tilted to make it look like a closet, and then mock-ups, mood boards showing what Nathan's studio of healing could be, complete with captions in pink cursive. The comment section exploded. Aunt Patricia, is this true, Marty? Cousin Jennifer, maybe she's just private about her space. Grandma, what's wrong with the room he already has? Mom replied to each one like a campaign manager. He's an artist, Mother. The energy of darkness suppresses creativity. Patricia, she doesn't understand how serious this is. And then, of course, Tessa appeared, posting, some people love control more than they love healing. Sad, but true. I nearly threw my phone. Evan called right as I was typing a reply. Marty, don't engage. Screenshot everything. People see through her eventually. I wanted to believe that. 2 hours later, my phone buzzed again. This time, Aunt Patricia. Honey, your mom's coming over. She said you agreed to a family discussion? No, I said, panic rising. She's already on her way. I ran to the window. Sure enough, her car slowed in front of my house. The doorbell started ringing. I didn't move. The bell rang again, then knocking, then pounding. Marty, she yelled. We are family. Let's talk like adults. I stood perfectly still in the hallway, heart in my throat. After 10 minutes, the knocking stopped. I exhaled. Then she started yelling through the mail slot. You're abandoning your brother for a room. Do you even hear yourself? Your father would be ashamed. It lasted 45 minutes. Nathan never came downstairs. I could hear his headset through the ceiling. When she finally left, I felt like I'd survived a siege. But she wasn't done. By evening, I got another ping from the group chat. Mom again. Marty refused to speak to me. Please, everyone, pray for Nathan's strength in the face of her cruelty. Beneath it, a new photo. Nathan sitting on my front steps, head in hands, staged lighting and all. The caption read, even in darkness, the artist still hopes for light. That night, Evan said quietly over the phone, this isn't about Nathan's healing, Marty. This is about control. I believed him, but I didn't know yet just how far Mom would go to prove him right. The next morning, I found Mom's latest message waiting like a storm alert. You've left me no choice. We'll have to discuss this publicly. I didn't even have time to wonder what that meant before my phone began to vibrate like it was alive. 47 missed calls, 16 Facebook notifications, 5 voicemails from relatives who hadn't texted me since high school. When I opened the family group chat, my stomach turned. Mom had posted a new declaration. Family emergency. Marty has given Nathan an ultimatum. Either he becomes her live-in servant, cooking and cleaning in exchange for the small, dark room, or he leaves. He's in tears. Please, everyone, send love and prayers. We may need legal help. The replies came like gunfire. Aunt Patricia. Marty, how could you? Cousin Sarah. This doesn't sound like her. Uncle Robert. Let's hear both sides. Grandma. Linda, have you spoken to Marty before, saying this publicly? I jumped into the chat, fingers shaking. This is a lie. Nathan lives here rent-free. I pay for everything. He has never been asked to clean, cook, or pay a single bill. I will not tolerate slander. Nathan, please confirm. No reply. I went to his room and knocked. No answer. I turned the handle. Locked. Nate, I called softly. Can we talk? Nothing. I texted him. It went straight to voicemail. Then, 20 minutes later, Mom replied in the group chat. Of course she's denying it. Nathan is too scared to contradict her. He's dependent on her for shelter. That was the moment I realized something had snapped inside her. My phone rang. It was Uncle Michael. Marty, he said, voice low. I just saw the chat. What's going on? I told him everything, from the bedroom request to the redecoration stunt. He sighed. Your mom's been off lately. She did something similar last year, told your Aunt Patricia to divorce her husband because of a psychic dream. The year before that, she told your cousin Jennifer her daughter was an indigo child who needed special schooling. We thought it was harmless. It's not harmless anymore, I said. She's turned my brother into a prop. I'll find Nathan, he said. Let me talk to him. An hour later, my phone rang again. Found him, Uncle Michael said. He's at a coffee shop downtown. He left the house yesterday because your mom won't stop calling him. She's been telling him that if he doesn't get your room, it means he's a failure as a person and an artist. I closed my eyes. God. He's scared of her, Marty. He needs space from both of you for a few days. I'm taking him to my place. That's fine, I said quietly. Thank you. That night, I sat in the living room, staring at the glow of my locked phone, my reflection caught in the blank TV screen. Without Nathan there, the house felt hollow, but it also felt safe again. Then came the pounding at the door. I didn't need to look to know who it was. Marty! Mom's voice echoed through the door. We need to talk like family. You're not welcome here, I shouted back. She kept pounding. I'm your mother. You can't shut me out. Yes, I can, I said, pressing my back to the door. You're trespassing. Silence. Then a sound I didn't expect. Aunt Patricia's voice. Marty, sweetheart, she called softly. Please open the door. Your mother just wants to mediate. I pressed the intercom button on the Ring doorbell. There's nothing to mediate. Nathan's fine. He's staying with Uncle Michael. Please leave. Mom's voice rose again, breaking into a scream. You're destroying this family. Your father would be ashamed of what you've become. Nathan deserves better than a selfish sister who values property over people. Her words echoed through the neighborhood. I could see curtains moving across the street, neighbors peeking out, trying not to stare. Finally, after another 10 minutes, their footsteps faded. The next morning, I woke to find my name tagged in a Facebook post. It was from Mom's account, public for all to see. It breaks my heart to see how material success can corrupt someone's soul. My daughter has chosen her fancy bedroom over her brother's mental health. Nathan is artistic, sensitive, and struggling, but instead of support, he faces rejection. I pray Marty finds compassion before it's too late. The comments were vicious. People who didn't know me called me heartless. People who did know me were cautious. Maybe there's more to the story. And then, inevitably, Tessa appeared again. Compassion doesn't cost rent. I reported the post. Facebook said it didn't violate their community standards. 2 days later, Uncle Michael called again. Good news, he said. Nathan's doing better already. He's eating, talking, even laughing. He said being away from your mom is helping. I think he's finally waking up. That word, waking up, felt like oxygen. But before I could even exhale, he added, Bad news. Your mom showed up at my house this morning. Security at the gate had to escort her out. I pressed my hand to my forehead. She's unraveling. By the following week, it wasn't just Facebook. Mom started a blog. The header read, When Children Forget Love, A Mother's Journey Through Betrayal. Each post was a twisted version of my life. Me as the villain, Nathan as the broken angel, her as the martyr of motherhood. And every entry ended the same way. Pray for Marty Lohman, she's lost her light. It would have been funny if it didn't feel like a digital haunting. I stopped checking my notifications. Then came the final straw. A yellow envelope slid through my mail slot one morning. Official looking, with legal notice printed in red. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a printed letter titled, Cease and Desist, Emotional Abuse and Failure to Provide Adequate Living Conditions. The entire thing looked like a law school parody. Typos, clip art scales of justice, and Mom's signature at the bottom. I sent it to my friend who's an attorney. He laughed for 5 minutes straight. This was written in Comic Sans, he said. I think she used a free legal template online. Still, I couldn't shake the chill that ran through me. Because beneath the absurdity, there was obsession. And obsession has a way of escalating. That night, I double-checked my locks, closed every curtain, and sat on the edge of my bed. The same one Mom wanted to repurpose into her healing zone. For the first time since buying the house, it didn't feel like a home. It felt like a fortress. Somewhere outside, a car door slammed. I held my breath. And for one long, cold minute, I waited to see if the knocking would start again. 3 weeks later, Grandma called. Not texted, called. That alone told me things had reached a new level. Her voice was steady but grave. Marty, your mother has gone too far. We're having a family meeting. Everyone will be there. Saturday, 4 p.m., my house. Be there. It wasn't a request. I hesitated. Is Mom going? She will, Grandma said. And this time, she's going to listen. Saturday arrived like a verdict. When I pulled up to Grandma's old white house, the driveway was lined with cars I hadn't seen in months. Aunt Patricia's silver sedan, Uncle Michael's truck, even Nathan's beat-up Honda. Through the window, I saw him laughing with Uncle Michael. He looked lighter, healthier. His hoodie was gone, replaced by a clean flannel and some color in his cheeks. Mom, however, was dressed like a widow in mourning. Black turtleneck, black scarf, black gloves despite the heat. As soon as I stepped inside, her eyes darted to me. You made it, she said flatly, as if I'd been summoned to court. I was invited, I said. Grandma clapped her hands once. Everyone, sit. The living room felt like a tribunal. Cousins lined the couch. Aunts and uncles took the chairs. Grandma stood at the center like a judge. She didn't waste time. Linda, she said to Mom, this nonsense ends today. Mom blinked, her smile tight. Mother, with all due respect, I'm doing my best to protect my son's mental health. No, Grandma cut her off. You're manipulating everyone. You've turned this family into a stage for your drama. Drama? Mom's voice cracked. You think I enjoy being vilified by my own daughter? Linda, Uncle Michael interjected, you've been stirring chaos for years. The only difference now is Marty's refusing to play along. The room went still. Mom opened her mouth, then froze when Grandma lifted a folder from the coffee table. It was thick, stuffed with printed screenshots, messages, and Facebook posts. I've been documenting everything, Grandma said. The posts, the fake legal letter, the voicemails, even your so-called blog. If you don't stop this madness and get real therapy, I'll share it with everyone. Your church, your book club, that charity board you brag about. Mom went pale. You wouldn't. Try me, Grandma said. Then Nathan stood up. He looked nervous but steady. Mom, he said quietly, I don't want Marty's room. I never did. She blinked, confused. What are you talking about? You kept telling me I needed it, that I was an artist, that I was special. But the truth is, I was lazy. I dropped out because I didn't want to work hard. You turned that into some kind of spiritual crisis because it made you feel needed. Don't say that, Mom snapped. You're my son. I know what's best for you. Nathan's voice cracked but didn't break. No, you don't. You know what makes you feel in control. The room fell silent except for the sound of Grandma's grandfather clock ticking. Mom turned her fury on me. You're poisoning him against me. I met her gaze. No, Mom, you did that yourself. You've been using him as an excuse to get closer to this house. You wanted to move in, didn't you? Her expression flickered, one heartbeat of silence too long. Aunt Patricia gasped. Linda, is that true? Mom straightened her scarf. I'm 52. I'm getting older. It made sense for family to live together. But no, my daughter is too selfish, too attached to her precious space. Linda, Uncle Michael said dryly, you're not 82. You're fine. You have a job, an apartment, and no medical issues. You don't need your daughter's master bedroom. Mom's jaw trembled. You all think I'm crazy. Grandma sighed. I think you're hurting. And instead of facing it, you control people to distract yourself. That stops today. Either you get therapy or you'll lose this family entirely. The room stayed quiet for a long time. Finally, Mom stood, clutching her purse like a shield. You'll regret this, she said, voice shaking. All of you. When I'm gone, you'll see. And then she walked out. The screen door slammed behind her. No one moved for a full minute. Then Nathan exhaled shakily. I can't believe she said that out loud. She's been building up to it for years, I said. He nodded. Uncle Michael's letting me stay until I can afford my own place. I got a job at a bookstore, and I'm signing up for community college. I smiled for the first time in months. That's great, Nate, really. He looked at me. Marty, I'm sorry for everything. I should have spoken up sooner. I hugged him. You were caught in her storm. It's not your fault. He pulled back, his voice quiet but sure. I don't want to be part of the storm anymore. That night, Grandma sent a group text. Family meeting outcome. Linda will seek therapy. All communication with her goes through email only. No one is to engage with her online posts. We protect each other from manipulation going forward. It was short, firm, and somehow freeing. I stared at the message until the words blurred. For the first time since this nightmare began, I felt something unfamiliar. Peace. But I also knew peace never lasts long in a family like mine. Somewhere out there, Mom was probably writing her next chapter. And I had no idea what role she planned for me next. 2 months later, I woke up in silence. No pounding on the door, no phone vibrating with guilt-laced essays, just the sound of birds outside my east-facing window, sunlight slipping through the curtains like forgiveness. It had been a long time since I'd felt peace in this house, my house. Nathan had fully moved in with Uncle Michael for a while after the meeting. He got a part-time job at a local bookstore, then started taking night classes in business management. He texted me pictures sometimes, coffee cups on counters, piles of paperbacks, his first paycheck. One Sunday, he came by with pizza and a sheepish smile. I signed a lease, he said, my own apartment. Tiny, but it's mine. Pride swelled in my chest. Good. That's what growing up is supposed to feel like. He laughed. Don't worry, it's not north-facing. I threw a napkin at him. We both laughed, really laughed, the kind that doesn't need apology afterward. Mom, on the other hand, went quiet after the family meeting. 3 weeks of total silence. Then, suddenly, a short email. I've started therapy. Please don't tell anyone. I need privacy. It wasn't an apology, but it was something. Grandma confirmed she'd checked with the therapist. Yes, Mom was attending sessions, at least for now. The rest of us decided to let time do its work. No one trusted too easily anymore. One night, Evan and I sat on the balcony. The the same one Mom once called Nathan's healing sanctuary. He was reading while I painted my toenails, the warm light from the house spilling over us. "Hard to believe it's over," he said quietly. "It's not really over," I said. "It's just quieter." He nodded. "Your brother's doing great, though. That's progress." "And Mom?" I asked. He shrugged. "Maybe her therapy will help, or maybe she'll just find a new crusade." We both knew which was more likely. Then, like clockwork, the internet found me again. A notification. New post on when children forget love. Yes, Mom's blog was still alive. The title read, "Sometimes we must release toxic people to find our truth." I didn't even need to open it to know who the toxic person was. I texted Nathan. Me. "Seen Mom's latest post?" Nathan. "Yeah, irony's wild." Me. "You okay?" Nathan. "More than okay. Heading to work. Love you, sis." That was all I needed. A week later, Grandma invited us all over for dinner, without Mom. For the first time in a year, the table felt light. No tension, no whispered accusations, no invisible checklist of guilt. When the meal ended, Grandma poured tea and looked at me with a proud, knowing smile. "You finally learned what your mother never could," she said. "What's that?" I asked. "That love and control are not the same thing." Now, months later, this house feels alive again. The master bedroom, my bedroom, remains exactly as I designed it. Books by the window, clean light spilling across the hardwood, the faint scent of fresh paint and lemon oil. I still have the lock on the door, not out of fear, but as a reminder that boundaries aren't walls, they're invitations to peace. Sometimes saying no isn't rejection. It's a form of love that doesn't destroy you in the process. Last weekend, Nathan came over to help me repaint the guest room, the same dark, north-facing one that apparently stifled creativity. As he rolled the paint, he smirked. "You know, I might store my bike in here. That okay?" I laughed. "As long as you don't hang a dream catcher on my ceiling fan." He grinned. "Deal." When the sun rose this morning, I stood on the balcony, coffee in hand, and watched the light fill the room. The world was still, gentle, unhurried. For the first time, I didn't feel like I was defending my space. I was living in it. And that, I realized, was the real victory. My sanctuary didn't need healing crystals or altars. Just honesty, peace, and a locked door when necessary. Because no matter how bright the morning light is, you can't let anyone else decide who deserves it more than you.